Hello, Sharon.
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised
Home ground.
to
He's coming after homegrown next. That should be great. The President of the United States just threatened to deport U.S. citizens to El Salvadorian prison. But it's just Salvadorian, right? You don't include the El Salvadorian prisons. El Salvador, but Salvadorian, I think. So the way it goes.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to
That's
thank
exactly
you
what the
for
Supreme Court
watching
said he would do.
Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland.
I'll go look now. I haven't been keeping up with Facebook Messenger.
Watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. I'm Will Bird. This is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. No show last night. I don't know. I didn't feel up to it. I got a doctor's appointment coming up tomorrow. And I figured, if it's Sunday, take the Sunday off, let everybody relax. Yeah, there's some news that come up. By the way, I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional. If you're new here, I know for some reason we keep getting new viewers. I don't know where you're coming from. I appreciate it. But I have no idea where you are. You can introduce yourself in chat. But either way, I'm Will Bird. This show is called The Cold Beer Confessional, CBC, whatever. If you want to support the show, you can do that at coldbeer.fund. Not even supporting the show, but all my links are up there. If you're interested in following me or following the show, they're all at the top of the page at coldbeer.fund, coldbeer.fund. Yeah, so basically exactly what the Supreme Court said. The Supreme Court said it was 100%, right? It was unsigned, but all of the justices supported sending this memo. And when they put it out, it said that if we allow what happened to Abrego Garcia, the guy that was accused of being MS-13, even though there's no evidence whatsoever, he was deported. He was here. He's working. He's part of a union. He's never had any criminal record here or in El Salvador. He was here illegally, technically, but he had to stay from being deported back to his home country. He checked in yearly with immigration, did his thing, joined a union, got work permits, was doing the right thing. He was picked up and deported to El Salvador. The reason he couldn't be deported was because he had a threat on his life from a credible gang in El Salvador. The judge found credibility in that and little to no credibility in the MS-13 allegation. But the Supreme Court said, if we allow this to stand, then there's no protection from Donald Trump using the administration to pick up anybody off the street, including U.S. citizens, deporting them to a foreign country, calling it an accident, and then saying, sorry, we can't get them back. That's some other country's problem, right? I can't make another country give them back. So the leader of El Salvador has been in the U.S., and Trump had all of his yes men around him saying, oh, he's MS-13, and now that's a terrorist organization. We can't bring him back. That would actually be illegal. All we can do is make sure that when he gets it, they're trying to spin it like the Supreme Court said it was a win for them. I don't see that in any way, shape, or form, other than the Supreme Court asked to clarify like the steps that they wanted the White House to go through to bring this guy back home. But the very telling part, Trump suggests that homegrown criminals, homegrown meaning born here, U.S. citizens, could potentially be deported to countries like El Salvador into their maximum security prisons. Now, of course, he says rapists and murderers and people, but that isn't the immigrants, right? He didn't pick up rapists and murderers and people who hit old ladies in the back of the head. For some reason, he mentions that. People who come up and bop old ladies in the back of the head. He even talks about how they'll have to build more prisons, how they could send them a lot of business if we let citizens go there. It's wild that he's saying this shit. Let's see. ABC did a little thing on it. Let's see what he says. Trump, homegrown criminals could also be sent to El Salvador prison. Get some audio.
Deported to a notorious prison in El Salvador. The immigration standoff over the Maryland husband and father wrongly deported to a notorious prison in El Salvador. The U.S. Supreme Court just days ago ruling the U.S. must facilitate his return.
Must facilitate his return. It's upon them to do everything within their power, right? The Supreme Court can't make him like take an act of war, like invade El Salvador to get this guy back, but they must do anything within their power.
But today, President Trump and the president of El Salvador in the Oval Office, El Salvador's president, when asked if he'll return the man, said that was a preposterous question.
When they asked El Salvador's president, do you plan on returning him? Because basically they said, all we've got to do is make sure it's not hard for him to get back once he comes back here. We just got to limit the barriers once he's back in the United States. We don't have to bring him back to the United States. So they said, do you plan on releasing him? Do you plan on sending him to the United States? Do you plan on doing... That's crazy. That would be smuggling a terrorist into the United States. You expect me to smuggle a terrorist into the United States? The guy has no criminal history, no gang tie. The one gang tie he allegedly had was a police informant saying that he was a leader of MS-13 in a state that he's never even been to.
Here's Terry Moran tonight.
At the White House today, President Trump and the president of El Salvador, and at the center of their agenda, one man.
We might watch this whole press conference. It's kind of interesting.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man, a Salvadoran immigrant, husband and father, whom the Trump administration admits was mistakenly deported to that
There he is.
notorious prison in El Salvador.
He's done a fantastic job.
Today, Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele said he's got no plans to send Abrego Garcia back home to the U.S. and his family.
How can I return him to the United States? Like I smuggle him into the United States? Or whether
How can I return him? It's like I smuggle him in the United States. How did he get there, motherfucker? Did someone smuggle him into your prison? You release him from jail because he hasn't done anything wrong. You put him on a fucking plane back to the United States.
of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, the question is preposterous.
The Supreme Court unanimously ruled late last week that Abrego Garcia's removal to El Salvador was, quote, illegal, and ordered the Trump administration to facilitate his return. The administration claims Abrego Garcia is a member of the MS-13 gang, but a federal judge said last week they have offered, quote, no evidence to...
Zero evidence. The only evidence they have that I've seen is someone named him, and allegedly a cop said that he had a Chicago Bulls hat. A Chicago Bulls hat. It was either a hat or a jersey, I can't remember. And that's just hearsay. But an unnamed confidential informant said that he was the leader of the gang in New York State, a state he's never been to in his life. And how do you become the leader of a gang without any evidence that you're the leader of the gang? That's like me saying, okay, Legend is the leader of Tren de Aragua, whatever Trump calls them. Tren de Aragua. Does that just make it true?
Back that up, and he has no criminal record here or in El Salvador. After that ruling, President Trump told reporters this.
I have great respect for the Supreme Court. If they said to bring him back, I would.
He has, so we thought maybe he was backing down. He says, I have great respect for the Supreme Court. If they said to bring him back, I will tell them to bring him back. But you have to live Trenta Aqua. That's it. You have to live in Trump world. where even though he read the Supreme Court saying, yeah, this is illegal, we need to fix this, need to facilitate his return, he's like, nah, that's not what they said.
Tell them to bring him back.
Again, I can't stress this enough, okay? The Supreme Court says if we let him go through with this, there is nothing stopping him from doing this to U.S. citizens. In a unanimous decision, they said, if we let him go through with this, there is nothing that prevents him from doing this to even U.S. citizens. And we thought, finally, the Supreme Court standing up saying, without due process for this person, there's due process for nobody. But Trump considers that as a challenge, I guess. Hold my beer. I kind of presented this the other day. Somebody says, what are the chances he can't be brought back because he's dead? I don't know. So here's my thinking. As soon as it started to make press releases, the Trump administration does not want him to come back. Why? Even the home builders union or whatever it was is calling for his return. Not just SMART. What was the union? Hold on. I know SMART did. SMART was his actual union, but it was a bigger union, or it was at an event for a bigger union. I can't remember what it was. Anyways, this guy's going to go on a press tour, right? Is this it? I'll play the audio from it. I get his.
We need to make our voices heard.
NABTU. He's speaking at the NABTU conference, which is North Americans Building Trade Unions. So it's like a conglomerate of unions. SMART would be under that. SMART is sheet metal, mechanics, and transportation. For some reason, I was part of the SMART union. It is conductors are covered under SMART. SMART union, sheet metal mechanics. Sheet metal, air, rail, and transportation workers. Sheet metal, air, rail, and transportation workers. Okay? That they would also fall under the North American Building Trade Unions, plural. So here's Sean McGarvey, president of the North America's Building Trade Unions. Listen.
We need to make our voices heard. We're not red. We're not blue. We're the building trades. The backbone of America. You want to build a $5 billion data center? Want more six-figure careers with health care retirement and no college debt? You don't call Elon Musk. You call us. North America's building trades unions. And yeah, that means all of us, including our brother, Smart Apprentice, Kilmar Arbrega Garcia, who we demand to be returned to us and his family now. Bring him home.
I think this is a big deal, right? Because a lot of times the building trade stuff is like right-wing, maybe not the union representation, but the members. The same way when I worked for the railroad. Dude, I worked for the railroad in my hometown under the SMART union and then the BLE, Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers. And they were literally so right-wing, they voted themselves out of jobs. They would vote against their best interest. Like it was insane. But anyways, I think it's a big deal. They don't want him back. Why? Because it's a press nightmare. The guy's going to come back. They're going to welcome him back. CNN's going to be there. Every podcast is going to want an interview. Every news agency is going on an interview. He's going to talk about the horrors that he saw there, that we're still sending people to there. right? We're still keeping people there. He's going to talk about how horrible it was, how he was treated, bag over his head, middle of the night, chained in a plane, treated like shit. They don't want him back. So they also have to contend with the courts, right? And they're setting up a fight with the courts. So one of two things could have happened. In my hypothetical, I guess the way I envision this, as soon as this starts popping up, they know it's a press nightmare. So either they call the prison and they're like, hey, make him disappear. This guy's never coming back. Even if they tell us he had to come back, you tell us you lost him or he died or he attacked a prison guard, something. He's dead. 2, they knew how bad it was going to be, and they're like, please keep him safe. Don't mistreat him, because if he does end up coming back, we don't want all these horror stories about how he's mistreated and beaten, blah, blah, blah. But I just don't see that happening. The second one's a lot less likely, I guess. If it was the second one, you think they'd already brought him back, tried to keep it under wraps, tried to give him some media training and say, well, you can't say this, you can't say that kind of deal. Tried to turn him into a spokesperson for the Trump administration, saying, look, I know I was an accident, but there are real criminals and there are real bad people that need to be deported kind of deal. It's kind of, I don't know, it's wild.
But now the administration argues that federal courts have no authority to direct the executive branch on how to conduct foreign relations. And Attorney General Pam Bondi.
If they said to bring him back, I would tell them to bring him back.
But now the administration argues that federal courts have no authority to direct the executive branch on how to conduct foreign relations. And Attorney General Pam Bondi said today that bringing Abrego Garcia back would be up to El Salvador.
That's up to El Salvador if they want to return him. That's not up to us.
And over the weekend, 10 more.
That's up to El Salvador if they want to return him, not up to us. But the El Salvadoran president, the Salvadoran president, is saying, I'd be smuggling a terrorist here. How could I do that?
More migrants were sent to that prison in El Salvador. Trump said he likes it, even for U.S. citizens, suggesting Americans could be next.
I don't know what the laws are. We always have to obey the laws, but we also have homegrown criminals. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but you'll have to be looking at the laws on that.
That might sound like
he even says, I don't think the laws would be against that.
Trump's just joking, trying to rile up his opponents, but before reporters and cameras were in the Oval Office, a member of the Salvadoran delegation was live streaming, and Trump can be heard saying to Bukele, quote, homegrowns are next, the homegrowns, suggesting that Bukele needs to build about 5.
So he had this moment during the press conference saying, I don't know, you have to look at the laws, obey the laws. I don't think there would be an issue there. Something like that. But he's also caught on a hot mic saying the homegrowns are next. We got the homegrowns.
5 more prisons. Bukele laughed, and Trump can be heard saying, quote, it's not big enough. David?
Terry Moran at the White House for us. Terry, thank you.
You're good. Thanks for hanging out with us. This is wild. At first, they said it's just the murderers and the rapists and blah, blah, blah. Then they said it's just the illegal immigrants. They committed a crime because they come here. Then they said it's the people not checking in, not doing the right thing, not trying to become U.S. citizens. And now they're going to make an excuse and, it's not all U.S. citizens. It's just the bad ones. It's the murderers and rapists. They're going to start all over. It's just the murderers and rapists. It's the ones who haven't paid their taxes. It's the ones who did this. It's the ones who did that. It's the ones that don't like Trump. It's crazy. The cults, there are some people you can sway. I'm not saying there isn't. There are people in the middle that should be appalled by this, right? There are people in the middle that just don't understand what this means, what's coming for them. But the cults, you're not going to sway them. If Trump come out tomorrow and said, I'm deporting 5 of my biggest fucking supporters from Twitter or some shit, names they all knew, they'd be like, hell, they must have done something. This is what I get all the time when I make an argument. I got this about arguing about Trump's FEMA did not extend the funding, the 100% funding for the Helene disaster, and we're still recovering from it. We took the River Road the other day. It's still fucking destroyed, right? I shared it on my post, my Facebook as a post. I'm like, yeah, he needed us when he needed votes or when he was on his victory lap. But now, we're the furthest thing from his thoughts. He's not even thinking about us and the struggle we're in. You guys voted for this, you fucking retards. And they're like, I'm sure he's the president. He probably knows more about what's going on than you do. That's their entire argument. So if tomorrow he deported fucking, a U.S. senator, they'd be like, I'm sure he's the president. He knows more about that U.S. senator than you do. Shit's wild anymore, dude. Doge goons physically drag Social Security worker from desk. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet. I just found it, even though it's a couple days old. A senior executive of Social Security Administration was physically dragged from his office this week after clashing with a Doge. Greg Pierre, a career civil servant who led an IT team working on the agency's data system, was removed over his opposition to a Doge plan to cut off immigrants from key financial services, 3 people told the Post. The scheme, cooked up by Elon Musk's Doge squad, falsely lists thousands of migrants as dead in a Social Security database known as the Death Master File. Being entered into the death database cuts a person off from crucial financial services like the ability to receive government benefits and access any bank account or credit card. So they've already been doing this to U.S. citizens. There were stories that come out. These U.S. citizens were expecting their checks. Checks didn't come. They call in. They're like, oh, it's because you're dead. They're like, I'm not fucking dead. The goal was to push migrants who were granted temporary legal status under former President Joe Biden to self-deport. Jim Francis, a consumer law lawyer who is suing Social Security for wrongly entering a Maryland woman into the file, cast the repercussions in dire terms. It's the source of that data that the whole world uses, which is why, if it's inaccurate, it has such devastating impacts on people, he told the Post. Overnight, you literally become financially paralyzed. Tom Kind, a 90-year-old retiree in Colorado, told the Post that he had experienced being listed as dead, calling it a nightmare. In addition to losing benefits and health coverage, he faced a challenge convincing the agency he was still alive. After jumping through a number of bureaucratic hoops, he had to show up to an office in person for an interview proving he was alive. That's not even fun, he said. Doge has been working on a strategy to push out immigrants since February. A group of about a dozen civil servants from Social Security were assigned to help Musk goons, and agents from the Department of Homeland Security with the plot. Many career staff were worried that the project was wrong or illegal, a former senior official told the Post. Leland Dudek, Social Security's acting commissioner, who has signaled his willingness to carry out Doge's plans previously, worried that this scheme might be illegal, insiders told the Post. Nevertheless, under pressure from President Trump's Homeland Security Secretary, Kristi Noem, he acquiesced, signing 2 memorandums on Monday that allowed the database change. More than 6,000 migrants were listed as dead, despite we know that they're alive. Pierre, the civil servant who had pushed back against the action, was removed 2 days later. He declined to comment to the Post, as did Dudek. White House Press Secretary Karen Leavitt told the paper that the death file move was justified and downplayed the internal opposition. Quote, the Trump administration is protecting lawful American citizens and their hard-earned Social Security benefits and ensuring illegal immigrants will no longer receive such economic entitlements. Anyone who disagrees with the common sense policies of this administration can find a new job. Not only that, that's not the only way. Hold on just a second. Let me grab this other one. We also have this story coming out of Reuters from last week. Trump plans to fine migrants $998 for failing to leave after deportation order. April 8th, the Trump administration plans to fine migrants under deportation orders up to $998 a day if they fail to leave the United States and to seize their property if they do not pay, according to documents reviewed by Reuters. The fine stems from a 1996 law that was enforced for the first time in 2018 during President Donald Trump's first term in office. The Trump administration plans to apply the penalties retroactively for up to 5 years, which could result in fines of more than $1 million, a senior Trump official said. requesting anonymity to discuss non-public plans. They're trying to make it harder to get here, less likely that you're going to stay. They're trying to make a hostile environment for anybody. Legal, illegal, amnesty, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter why you're here. Even U.S. citizens are on the chopping block now. U.S. citizens are being marked as dead. Your citizens are the homegrowns that he talks about. It's wild.
Criminals next. I said, homegrowns are next. The homegrowns. You got to build about 5 more places.
This is a live stream when he didn't know he was being recorded. Okay? One of this guy's men was live streaming all this on his cell phone.
Criminals next. I said, homegrowns are next. The homegrowns. You got to build about 5 more places.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right? It's not.
Build about 5 more prisons. The homegrowns are next.
That's fair.
All right? It's not big enough.
No, yeah.
Come on. So this is a much different office. Criminals next. I said, homegrowns are next. The homegrowns. You got to build about 5 more places.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right? It's not big enough.
No, yeah.
Come on. So this is a much different office. Criminals.
I don't, with the complaints about, how the Salvadoran government treat people within this prison system, I don't understand how he's getting away even sending them money, right? They should be fucking war criminals, the way they treat people. And we're paying them millions of dollars to keep these people. It's just wild. It's wild. That's Trump's latest bullshit. I was arguing on Twitter. Do you guys know? I was arguing on Twitter with somebody. And basically, or I'm sorry, on TikTok with somebody. And basically they replied to a video. The person in the video said they are trying to make it harder or take away the right for women to vote through the SAVE Acts. Okay? And the guy, he's like OG landscaper or something. I followed him for his like tree cutting and lawn mowing videos, but he's gotten political lately. Everybody has. But the guy says, okay, well, let's look at that bill and see if it's in there. Then he goes to this page right here and hits listen and play and reads the summary. I'll show you the video. Hold on. The summary of the bill. And says, nope, not in there.
We are now in a situation.
What could be the issue with reading this summary of a bill to prove that it doesn't contain something in the bill? So I, rightfully so, pointed out, you can't actually tell what's in a bill. You can't actually tell what's in a bill by reading the summary of a bill. Obviously. I mean, look how small this thing is, right? It says this bill requires individuals to provide documentary proof of U.S. citizenship when registering to vote in federal elections. Specifically, the bill prohibits states from accepting or processing applications to register to vote in federal election unless the applicant presents documentary proof of U.S. citizenship. The bill specifies what documents are considered acceptable for proof of U.S. citizenship, such as identification that complies with the Real ID Act of 2005 that indicates U.S. citizenship. Further, the bill prohibits states from registering an individual to vote in federal elections unless At the time the individual applies to register to vote, the individual provides documentary proof of U.S. citizenship, and 2, requires states to establish alternate process under which an applicant may submit other evidence to demonstrate U.S. citizenship. Each state must take affirmative steps on an ongoing basis to ensure that only U.S. citizens are registered to vote, which shall include establishing a program to identify individuals who are not U.S. citizens using information supplied by certain sources. Additionally, states must remove non-citizens from their official list of eligible voters. The bill allows for a private right of action against an election official who registers an applicant to vote in a federal election who fails to present documentary proof of U.S. citizenship. The bill establishes criminal penalties for certain offenses, including registering an applicant to vote in a federal election who fails to present documentary proof of U.S. citizenship. Right? That's very vague to begin with, right? It's just the highlights of the bill. It doesn't tell you how you're going to do it. It doesn't tell you about what it means. It doesn't tell you what the proof is, what you can use. He literally uses it doesn't tell you what's acceptable proof, what's not acceptable proof. I mean, like it's the most vague overview of the bill. Obviously, you don't use this. You don't use this to prove your fucking point. I'll show you his video.
They are coming after women's rights to vote. They are coming after women's rights to vote. If you are a...
Really? Well, let's look deeper into that.
Well, let's get to the bottom of this one. He's on a bill summary. He's on a fucking bill summary.
There is one summary for HR 22. Bill summaries are authored by CRS. Shown here, introduced in House, January 3rd, 2025. Safeguard American voter eligibility. The bill prohibits what documents are 1. Prohibits states from registering an individual to vote in a affirmative process under which an applicant may submit other evidence to demonstrate U.S. citizenship. Each state must take affirmative steps on an ongoing basis to ensure that only U.S. citizens are registered to vote, which shall include establishing a program to identify individuals who are not U.S. citizens using information supplied by certain sources. Additionally, states must remove non-citizens from their official lists of eligible voters who fails to present documentary proof of U.S. citizenship. The bill establishes criminal penalties for certain offenses, including registering an applicant to vote in a federal election who fails to present documentary proof of U.S. citizenship.
They are coming after women's rights.
All right, so that's how he disproves her video, right? Really? Let's look into it. So I, very rightfully so, say, whether you're right or wrong, you can't use a summary of a bill to decide specifically what the bill says about people who have changed their name since marriage, as an example. Right? There's just one example. They would need a birth certificate that matches their real ID, which is not something many married women would have. Could also use a passport if that matches. It's 100% going to be a barrier for some citizens. Okay? Now, he responds after a while. He went and read the bill, I'm assuming. And he's like, page 15 starts on page 14 of the bill, my friend, allows states to accept additional documents in case of any discrepancies such as marriage licenses, etc. A name change does not make it hard to prove your citizenship, which in itself is a lie, but you can't fucking describe. A name change absolutely makes it harder. At least slightly. You got to concede at least slightly to prove who you are, right? So he goes and reads the bill. Well, I pull up the bill. I've already read this bill. But it says, and I'm trying to explain to him in these comments, vagueness in when something is vague is how you lose rights. Okay? That's how you lose rights. So I said, well, then they should include it in the bill. And I put in quotes, in cases of name change or name change due to marriage, and list marriage license as acceptable proof with ID and birth certificate or something like that. Vagueness is how people lose rights. Also, the original point still stands. No matter what, a bill summary is never a good place to check if something is included in a bill or not. He comes back and says they include it in the bill. They just didn't write it in crayon. They use a blanketed description words like discrepancies in documentation. They give individual states the right to use other documents. Vagueness leads to mistakes, I said. This will as well. I think every citizen should be, I said, look, I think every citizen should be registered to vote and maybe even required to vote. But do you believe this won't stop a single U.S. citizen from voting because one is too many? He responds back. This bill, H.R. 22, doesn't stop any legal citizen from voting. The bill is not vague. I've told you where to find this information in the bill. There's nothing else to discuss here. But it is vague. Okay, so let me give you an example. It says, processes in case of certain discrepancies in documentation. Subject to any relevant guidance adopted by the Election Assistance Commission, each state shall establish a process under which an applicant can provide such additional documentation to the appropriate election official of the state as may be necessary to establish that the applicant is a citizen of the United States. In the event of a discrepancy with respect to the applicant's documentary proof of the United States citizenship. Okay? That's all the bill says. If there's a discrepancy in your documentation, the state is going to set up some way to fix it. Okay? Now I say, okay, I'm the state of Tennessee. Your birth certificate doesn't match your license. You have to circumnavigate the globe on foot. Now that's silly. That's dumb. That's retarded to say. But I set up a system. That's getting lost in how vague a statement is. They want it to be vague because they know that states will set up these systems in many different ways, right? They might say, okay, well then you got to go back and change your marriage license. You got to get a new birth certificate, however you do that, with a different name. You got to change your real ID back to your maiden name. They can set up any fucking system they want. When they could have put in the bill, in cases of name changes or marriage, name changes due to marriage, a name change, a certified name change document that you go, in Tennessee, you have to go in front of a judge to let you change your name, is sufficient. A marriage license is sufficient. This will cause, I don't know how to get through to these fucking retards. This won't stop a single U.S. citizen from voting. It will. It will. What about people that just can't find their birth certificate in time? It's only for illegals. It's not hard to prove who you are. Sometimes it is. You already have to prove you're a citizen when you register to vote already. Why add another complication on top of it? Why make it harder? And if you're going to do this, you need to write out specifically. You may use a marriage license. You may use a court document saying your change of name, right? You may use this. You may use that. Not, we expect every different group of the 50 different states to set up their own system. You know how hard it's going to be? Imagine you move semi-close to an election and you don't want to commit voter fraud like Tulsi Gabbard did in the last election. You know how hard it's going to be to get moved, find all your shit, get there, put it all together, and it's even harder for women, for married women. And even the real ID shit is not in place everywhere it's supposed to be. They want you to use a system that's not even in place across the United States, the real ID. I don't know. They're so fucking blinded by, there just isn't this group of illegal aliens voting in our elections. You can't show me proof of that. When they do vote, someone that shouldn't vote, they're found, they're prosecuted, they face charges. Show me where all these illegal aliens are voting and this is an issue. The SAVE Act is the wrong solution for a non-problem. We call on Congress to reject the SAVE Act, which could go directly to the House floor this month, skipping committees as one of 12 bills identified for fast-tracking. A companion bill, S-128, has also been filed in the Senate where it would likely need to overcome the filibuster. This bill on its surface requires proof of citizenship for registering to vote in all federal elections. However, existing law already does that. All federal voter registration forms include a checkbox requiring registrants to positively affirm citizenship. Violating that is punishable, and instances of non-citizens voting is exceedingly rare. Instead of solving a real problem, the SAVE Act would have disastrous effects on our work, election official workloads, and ineligible voters across the nation. Here's the real reason they're doing it. The SAVE Act would require all voters to provide documentary proof of citizenship, a passport, a birth certificate with a photo ID. In most cases, anytime they register or update the registration, a real ID would not be acceptable. It is only proof of lawful residence, not citizenships, nor would military IDs without accompanying documentation like a birth certificate. What's more, the law as written suggests the proof to be presented in person. No allowance is made for online submission or mailing of copies. As a result of these onerous requirements, tens of millions of eligible citizens could be barred from voting, in addition to the negative impact on the work of nonprofits doing nonpartisan voter registration. This is what they don't want to happen. They don't want nonprofits out there doing voter registration. They want less people to vote. They always want less people to vote. The SAVE Act would effectively be the end of all third-party voter registration drives. Since election officials must review the proof of citizenship and no allowance is made for copies, third-party groups would be unable to collect registration forms with accompanying proof of citizenship. Additionally, nonprofits would not have the option of registering voters online. See below. The SAVE Act makes no allowance for proof of citizenship to be submitted online. This would render the online voter registration systems currently running in 42 states useless, forcing election officials to revert to far more costly and labor-intensive in-person registration. The two impacts above would radically upend the work of nonprofits doing voter registration across the nation. The most nonprofits would be able to do is talk about the importance of registering, educate the voters about what documents they would need, then send people in their local election office to actually register in person. Millions would simply not register. Not to mention, are they going to be overwhelmed by all these people attempting to register in these offices? The SAVE Act would also overwhelm election officials, I guess so, leading to long lines for voters and dramatically increased costs for state and local governments. As of 2022, only 5.9% of voters registered to vote in person at election offices, while 55% of registrations are collected through motor vehicle departments. The DMV is no longer... I registered through the DMV. That's the way most people register. No longer any good. The vast majority of states now do license renewals online. All registrations currently collected online, whether through the motor vehicle department or state elections office or by mail, would likely have to be done in person. Election officials on both sides of the aisle have serious concerns about the additional costs required. Then there's the highly discriminatory impact of the law on voters, disenfranchising tens of billions of eligible voters. Both income and education levels are major factors in determining whether or not someone has a passport. The passport's the easy way because it proves you're a citizen and it has your ID, but a lot of people don't have a passport. Voters with higher incomes and more education are far more likely to have a passport. People with household incomes over 100K are 3 times as likely to have a current passport as those with incomes below 50K. Residents of Northeast and West Coast states are more likely to have passports than others. Birth certificate requirements, even if voters can find them, are also problematic. People could be barred from voting because of the birth certificate name mismatches if they took their spouse's name or changed their name for other reasons. Among the various groups impacted, as many as 69 million American women do not have birth certificates with their current legal name on it. The in-person requirement for presenting the documents will be a barrier to those with limited access to transportation or that work during business hours, as well as rural voters would be especially challenged. Frequent movers would also be faced with the added burden of providing these documents in person every time they move. Many people simply won't bother and become unregistered and non-voters. There are the many Americans, including lower-income individuals, younger first-time voters, and new citizen voters who rely on third-party registration drives to bring them into the system that has otherwise ignored them. Even if the documents could be submitted online, over 21 million otherwise eligible American voters don't have these proof of citizenship documents readily available. In the end, tens of millions of eligible voters, eligible American citizens who don't have access to the required documentation or can't get a government office get to a government office in person would be unable to vote, all to prevent an exceedingly small number of non-citizens, a few dozen perhaps, from voting. It's crazy. I don't know. I'm not a fan, but you can't convince these people. You can't convince them. They know it all already. This just blows my mind.
I said homegrowns are next. The homegrowns built. You got to build about 5 more places.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. It's not big enough.
No, yeah.
Come on. So this is a much different.
I don't know. Let's do a palate cleanser. This guy, isn't his main account. I think this is a repost account. This guy's fucking hilarious. He trolls people on video games. Talks about how he's a real blue collar worker. They got this skin in the new game that's like Ninja Turtles. And he's talking about one of them. He's talking about how he's the night shift manager at a 7-Eleven. And he brings home $13,000 a year after tax. And other people are like, that isn't shit, dude. I make $75,000 a year or something. And he figures out how many Ninja Turtle skins that is per hour and like trolls them with it. I don't know. It's just funny. Watch this one.
Oh, you're a fucking cheating bitch.
Who's cheating, Hank?
Gulag.
Hey, my boss's name is Hank. We work on a road crew together. I'm actually on my first day off in 72 days today.
Hear that?
Hank don't mess around, bro. What kind of job you work? I pave roads, hardcore blue collar.
Mechanic, industrial.
You ever thought about getting like a real hard job?
What's hard about paving?
So what's hard about paving? You ever paved roads, bud?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have.
We're out there grinding 16 hours a day, laying it down. The hell's hard about being a mechanic? Sitting there twiddling your thumbs, sticking wrenches up your
Exactly right.
The guy's very, very good at trolling these people.
30 seconds on my boss Hank's crew. I can change my oil myself, buddy. Hey, is your Jiffy Lube hiring?
You gonna keep riding around in a fucking vehicle, or you gonna help the teammate?
I know you're not talking to
Or
me,
is that all
buddy.
you're good for is talking fucking shit?
Pull up to my job site and say that to my boss Hank, buddy. Pave you right into the fucking highway, I-70.
Damn
Hank will pave you right into the highway, buddy.
teammates over here fucking fighting, and you over here riding around.
Hey, put your wrenches down and start shooting your gun, maybe. I wouldn't have to buy you back. My Humvee's about half health there, Hank. Can you fix it? Bring your goddamn wrenches down here, bud. Need an oil change. Frick sakes, bro. Trying to run that back?
Oh, you're
That's what he always says at the end. Like, he pisses them off to the point to where they're ready to fight him over a fucking video game. Then he always says at the end, you trying to run that back, like, you want to play again? He's pretty good at it. Obviously, this isn't his account. I think this is just a repost. But, man, there's some good ones.
Whoa, we don't say that word around here, boss.
Which one are you talking about?
That's an illegal word, dude.
I don't care. I can't tell if you're serious or...
It's in the Geneva Convention, dude. It's illegal, boss. Worldwide.
Worldwide? I don't think so.
Obviously, you never read the Geneva Convention.
I don't think you did either. Why the f*** are you still talking, bro?
I know you're not talking to me like that right now.
Oh, yeah? What are you gonna do?
I'm literally a Geneva's witness, buddy. You do not want to mess with me.
Oh, my God, dude. You're fucking retarded.
What did I say about saying that word, boss?
Okay, then f***ing mute me if you don't f***ing like it. Jesus f***ing Christ.
What do you not understand? I'm a Geneva's witness, dude. I have to stand up for this stuff.
I honestly don't care.
Well, you should start caring, boss. I can send you a link to the Geneva's concoction after this.
I'm gonna continue to use it. You must be fun at parties.
Pull up to the next Geneva's Witness Convention, bro, and we'll teach you something.
Why would I want to do that? What are you gonna teach me?
I'm gonna teach you about the Geneva's Convention. It's worldwide law.
What the fuck? God, nobody gives a fuck.
I know, man. Like, just trying to play a fucking game. This is talking.
I know Xavier's not talking right now. What do you know about the Geneva's Convention, buddy? You're talking to a Geneva's Witness like that, bro.
He's very good at getting people pissed off.
Really cares, man.
Tough guy.
This guy's such a fucking keyboard warrior. You probably would let your wife get by a bunch of black guys, and you'd want to watch it and off to it.
As long as it's not breaking the Geneva's Convention.
Yeah, the world is soft because there's people like you in it. Contribute to society instead of fucking talking shit, dumb fuck.
You'll be behind bars within 30 days after breaking the Geneva's Convention like this.
You know what? Last I checked, there's still free speech in this world, so I can say if I want to.
Not when it comes to the Geneva's Convention.
Oh my god, dude, literally, I'm gonna fucking mute you.
Can't handle the heat and stay out the kitchen. Whoa, we don't say that word around.
He's very, very good at trolling. I don't know what his... Maybe... I don't think this is his main account. No, there's no way. Well, 132,000 followers, maybe. I don't know if they're just reposting his videos, if that's him, if this is his account. But either way, he's very funny. What's this one?
Yeah.
Dude, when he was trolling people over turtle skins and how they're like, the one guy's like, I make $70 an hour. And he's like, that's 13.6 turtle skins per hour, and you ain't got no turtle skins, bro?
Yo, what's up, boys?
What up, man? What up?
Me and my boys drop train station once in a while as well. You gotta help me there, bro. If I was with my boys, we would've won
Again,
that.
your boys ain't on.
I know you're not talking to me like that, because once my boys get on, bro.
What that's supposed to do? That's supposed to incite some fear because your boys are getting on?
Wait till my boy Johnny runs a lap around you.
Okay, who gets on?
If I was with my boys, we would already bought back.
You sound stupid, man.
My boys always have cash to res.
You and your boys would have had money, huh? That's what you keep saying to me.
If my boy Johnny gets on, he's got 7.5 gold guns, boss.
Man, I don't give a fuck who gets on, bro. Johnny, whoever you got. I got a squad that'll run that shit up, too.
Johnny would take your whole squad out himself.
You sound like a Johnny rider. Nah, I ain't scared of nobody, man. Johnny, whoever you got.
Then pull up to the skate park later. My boy Trey kickflip right over your head, buddy.
Yeah, I'm so scared, man. I apologize to you and Johnny, man. I ain't scared of no fucking Johnny, man.
Kinda sounds like you're scared, boss.
Nobody ain't scared of no fucking Johnny. That's what you keep reeling. You just don't understand. I'm not afraid of no Johnny. Not afraid of nobody. And you talk too fucking much, bro.
Johnny wins that.
Damn, shut the fuck up. Man, Johnny don't win shit. You trash as fuck. All you do is run your mouth. I should have just kept you muted.
You trying to run that back?
Hell no.
You want to play again? Hell no.
May, where you from?
This might be his actual account. Rolo, maybe.
Detroit, bro.
No way, bro. I'm from just outside of Detroit there. This is gonna sound a little bit weird, but I'm putting a crew together to hit a lick here soon, and we could use an extra set of hands.
Crazy, man.
Me and a couple of my boys, Lenny and Stuart, are trying to hit a lick over in East Lansing there.
Yeah, good luck, bro. I'm straight.
Bro, I'm talking generational wealth here, boss.
All right, go ahead.
So what we're gonna do is we got eyes on a care home, you know, old folks home, and they got tons of oxygen tanks. So we're gonna disguise ourselves as like construction workers. We're gonna go in there with our high-vis vests and stuff, and we're gonna take all their oxygen tanks. If you have a high-vis vest and a clipboard, you can get in anywhere, you know. Then we're taking them, we're gonna sell them to the junkies because they're hitting whippets off those oxygen tanks.
Well, not you trying to hit a lick on old people, man. Man, come on. You gotta respect your elders, gang.
Yeah, but they're old.
That ain't right.
They don't even know what's going on anyways.
Yeah, but they on their last leg. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, what's the...
Good to hit up the old folks home.
We're talking generational wealth here, boss.
I like old people, man. I learn a lot from people, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't trying to hit them while they down bad. You know what I'm saying?
They don't even know what's going on.
Nah, they definitely know what's going on. They just don't have the energy to fight you. We're here trying to rob old people.
Probably going to be about $75 each. That's not bad. Tax free.
What you going in?
Tax free.
Semi-auto, full.
Whoa. We're not. We don't need guns, dude. They're just old folks.
Hold on. Man, listen, trying to talk to you about this lick, you getting me killed.
I'm just saying, we're not going in there strapped, dude. We just got clipboards.
Hey, that sound like a good lick. I ain't gonna lie to you.
May, where are you from?
I want to hear him. I want to find one with the turtle skins. Maybe that was like a couple weeks ago I was seeing all those. Who's calling the shots? Who's calling the shots, boys?
Where we going?
Who's calling the shots here?
Call it.
He doesn't even have a mic, though. He's trying to be a shot caller.
Look, I got a mic, man.
Two-step, bro. This is all your fault, buddy.
I'll get y'all back. Don't worry about it.
You said you're calling shots. You're trying to call shots, and then you call a terrible shot.
Happens to the best of us, okay?
No, it doesn't, dude. Not me when I'm calling shots. When I'm calling shots, when I'm playing with my boys, dude, we'd never have a moment like that.
You never have a moment like that? How about you calling shots then, man? Let's see if you can do a little better, man.
You can't even call shots for more than 30 seconds, dude.
All right, man.
How about you call the shots?
I don't want to call the shots. I want you to call the shots, man.
You're the one that was trying to call shots right off the rip there, though. What was that about?
Calling the shots, man.
Like, usually when I'm playing with my boys, I call the shots, but you ping that most wanted like you were the shot caller, dude. So what's that about?
Because I'm trash, man. That's why. Because I'm trash.
Where the hell did Two-Step go now?
He's pretty good.
He tried to call shots, calls a bad shot, and then just leaves.
Let me see if I really want to find one with the turtle skins. It was so funny, dude. I was dying. I was fucking dying about it. He's like, you could have 13.6 turtle skins per hour and you ain't got no turtle skins.
Yo, where we dropping, boys?
Already marked, my boy.
I'm probably too far
Shots then, hey.
too far behind.
Call shots, you can call shots.
No, it ain't like that. I just always get on and get the most on it, and y'all can do what y'all feel.
Yeah, dude, I can call the shots from now on if you want, bro. If you're not feeling confident about your shot calls, it's not a big deal.
Just go ahead, bro. Go ahead and call the shot then.
All right, where we going next then, shot caller?
Didn't you just say you was gonna call the calls? Because you call them with your boys all the time. I said go ahead, and you want to go back and forth about it like 5 times?
You're the one that's pinging stuff and trying to call shots, dude. Like,
but anything, somebody else pinged the precision strike. It wasn't even me. What are you talking about? Just play the game.
There's another guy called Good Griefs, and he just goes around griefing people online. He's pretty good at it.
And just make calls. I was laughing at you because you a damn joke, but you steady want to keep going on about shots. I've never played with somebody that, oh, you're the shot caller. Ooh, you're calling shots. Bro,
he's so mad.
Just say so, bro.
Bro, shut up. You're not calling out nothing. Shut up. That's the best thing you can do is shut up.
One over there.
There you go.
Hey, if you're not confident in your shot calls, all you had to do is say so, bro. Don't even be freaking out about it.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
That's why I call the shots around here, bud.
Oh, no, I ain't gonna help your ass. You better be lucky he on the team. I'll let your
You're calling out other teams on the shot caller, bro, and you're acting like you don't want to be a shot caller.
Did you call it? Did you see it? You're not a good shot caller then. You didn't see it. You're not doing a good job. You're poor at your job. You need to find somebody else to do it. You're not doing it right, buddy. Your head is not on the swivel. You're horrible.
You would not talk to a superior officer like that, buddy.
You're weird. You give off.
Oh, thank you very much for the gifted subs. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Privileged. Oh, you'll talk to your senior officer like that. You're weak.
I'm trained too.
I gotta feel important. I'm the most important on the game with the lowest stats on the game. I gotta make the shots. Somebody else make a call. There's a problem because I'm not doing my job.
If you're not a shot caller, just say so, dude.
You ain't calling. But he's in the air. He's in the air.
Calm down, Patrick Mahomes.
Good call. Good call. I like that. Good call, man. I hear no calls. I hear shooting. I hear no calls.
On me, over there.
There you go. There you go. You're really slow.
You okay, dude?
Are you fine? See, there you go. You're checking my temperature. There you go. There's the narcissist trying to play all coy like I did nothing. I didn't antagonize those folks. I didn't say nothing to them. Nobody was tackling me. I was just minding my business. He called me a shot caller. Above you, bro.
You're not the shot caller, buddy. Quit trying to call him.
Reload. To your left. Somebody to your left. Not your right. Your left.
Quit trying to call shots, boss. That's why I call shots, bud.
You didn't call it nothing.
I called every shot that game and we won.
You called every shot that game. I got it all recorded. You telling me you a liar? Are you like the whiteout parts of history and lie about that too?
Run it back, bro. Invite me. Yo, where we dropping, boys? Yeah. What's up, boys? Yeah, B-Day, how's it going?
My name Body.
B-Day, how's it going?
It's Body.
All right, B-Day, where we dropping?
Man, it's by, like B-Y, by day.
B-Day.
Body.
All right, B-Day.
I'm about to just ignore your ass.
You got any of those Ninja Turtle skins?
No.
If you're broke, just say so, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I can buy it myself. I just don't want it.
I have all 4 of them, so.
Bro, I got 2 jobs.
I'm bringing in $13,000 a year after taxes. Trust me.
I'm bringing in $13K a year after taxes, bro.
I got money.
13,000, that ain't shit.
After taxes, that is.
After taxes, I'm raking in like 50,000.
You're raking in $50,000 a year after taxes. What are you, Elon Musk?
Dude, that's not a lot of money.
What are you, Elon Musk?
Taxes. What are you, Elon Musk?
Dude, that's not a lot of money.
You don't have any turtle skins, though.
Cause I got bills. I got shit I gotta take care of, bro. I'm not about to just spend all my money on no game, dog.
$50,000 a year, and you have 0 turtle skins.
I'm not saying I can't buy it, bro. You wanna see a screenshot of my account?
I'm a 7-Eleven night shift manager, buddy, working 12 hours a week, bringing in $13,000 a year, dog. And I got all 4 Ninja Turtle skins.
I work at an oil manufacturing plant. I make $1,500 every 2 weeks.
No, you don't, dude. There's no way.
Yes, I do. What the fuck, bro? I'm telling you.
How much are you making an hour then?
I make $13 an hour.
So you're making 3/4 of a turtle skin an hour.
Out of 5.
You don't have any turtle skins? You're bringing in 0.7 turtle skins per hour, and you have 0 turtle skins.
Dude, ain't nobody lying, bro.
Just work half a day on a week.
$750 a week.
Turtle skins right there.
$750 a week is not $50K.
So you're working 5 to 5 at 0.7 turtles an hour. That's almost 8 turtles per day.
Dude, and that's just my first job.
That's almost 8 turtles per day. Dude, he's doing all the math.
Just work half a day on a weekend. You got 4 turtle skins right there. So you're working 5 to 5 at 0.7 turtles an hour. That's almost 8 turtles per day.
Dude, and that's just my first job.
What's your other job?
My second job, I work at Pizza Hut. I make $9.75 an hour.
0.49 turtles per hour as well.
I want no turtles. I gotta go to work in an hour. Bro, I work anywhere between 40 to 48 hours a week.
A week?
And you got $13,000.
And 4 turtle skins. How many turtle skins you got?
I got 0, my boy.
Like, the thing that doesn't make sense then, if your hours are correct, you should be bringing anywhere from 28 to 33 turtle skins a week.
Dude, that'll forever have me rolling, dude. Turtle math.
Keep talking money and turtle skin.
You trying to run that shit back?
Yeah, play it again, blue collar.
Yeah.
He's very good at what he does. All right, that was the palate cleanser. The guy's very funny. Follow him on TikTok. If you're the other guy's name is Good Grief. I like where he does. He'll get in those racing games and like talk shit about Dale Earnhardt. Holy shit! Like in the NASCAR racing games and stuff. That shit's fucking wild, dude. You talk about trolling some people. They go fucking all out. Let's see. He's got some pinned videos. 9.8 million on the VR.
Hit me.
What you mean hit you? This ain't blackjack.
I have 10. Hit me.
This is poker, bro. This ain't blackjack.
I have 10. Hit me.
Bro, you're playing poker.
Maybe next round.
You're playing poker. Do you understand?
We'll try again next round.
Bro, you're in the wrong game. This is not blackjack 21, bro. This is fucking poker.
I'm over 21. I'm allowed to be here.
It's poker, bro. You're playing poker. I swear to God, if this kid says hit me, I'm going to lose it.
Alright. Stand.
Bro, you're an idiot, bro. Get the fuck out of here, dude. You're playing the wrong game.
I have 16. I don't want to hit.
You're playing the... Dude, what is wrong with you, bro?
Hit me.
What you mean, hit you? This ain't blackjack.
I have...
Maybe it wasn't Good Grief that did the NASCAR ones. I can't remember what his name was. It's not Good Grief. I know I've showed some of his videos before. I remember Good Grief, but it's not the same one. Who's the one that does the NASCAR videos? I don't think I could look it up. He like wrecks people on purpose and shit, then blames it on other people. And he's like, no, that's not me. That was you, dude. I don't know. It's funny. I'll find it some other time. Let's see. Good Grief. Correcting the mistakes out here.
The Democrats hate
Or Good Trouble. Good Grief is the last person. Good Trouble correcting these mistakes out here. Elon Musk is just doing this out of the kindness of his heart, guys.
The Democrats hate Elon Musk, and I'm trying to think through this as
Idiot just gifted 5 subs.
Oh shit! Thank you. Thank you for gifted subs. I appreciate it.
unbiased as possible. But what leverage does what benefit does Elon have being in the government? This is the richest man in the world. So being in government, it might make him richer, but likely is going to.
The fact this I can't comprehend this. Somebody explain it to me like I'm a child. Just how do you reconcile that the richest man in the world, because he's the richest man in the world, is for some reason not going to try to make money within the government? Like, they'll literally say, he doesn't want your data. He's the richest man in the world. He's not trying to get a new contract. He's the richest man in the world. He's not going to come over and drink your beer. He's an alcoholic. Like, I don't understand it. What are you saying?
Richest man in the world. So being in government, it might make him richer, but likely is going to make him poor. No. Being in government is going to make people hate him. Yeah. So what advantage would he have being in government?
Implying that he wouldn't utilize the federal government to enrich himself because he's the richest man on earth is really disingenuous and super short-sighted. It is precisely why he has involved himself in our politics to this degree. Turns out it's really lucrative to trick the government into paying you. Ask Donald Trump. This guy already has hundreds of millions of dollars in government contracts. This ensures that he keeps doing that. We can start here, where he made the government turn over an FAA contract to the tune of $2.4 billion from Verizon to his company, Starlink. Seems like a slight conflict of interest there. What do you think? Remember when they fired a bunch of inspectors generals, some of whom were investigating the spaceship explosions having to do with the FAA and grounding a bunch of airplanes? You remember when he did that? He doesn't need to get richer. He wants to get richer. They all want to get richer. They don't need $50 billion. They need $53 billion. That's how this greed works. And while we're here, we might as well remind you, he's not a good dude. He's not doing this altruistically, Chandler.
The Democrats hate Elon.
It doesn't make sense. Well, he's putting his business aside. He's losing money. Then he wouldn't be doing it. If there wasn't a benefit from him, he's not even from our country. You're telling me that he just loves our country so much, he's willing to lose everything and be this pariah and lose all his money and give everything up, potentially his life, for no benefit at all. You're fucking stupid. But that's the same way they think of Trump. Trump just came here to save us. He hates it. He doesn't want to do it. He's losing money. He's losing fame. Everybody hates him. He could have just sat at his golf club and played golf. But he's doing this because he loves our country. Chosen by God to be here. It just blows my fucking mind. All right, there's another trend currently going on. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. The China, well, I guess the title kind of gave it away. China's kind of calling our bluff, okay? And they have went to social media to start. Did you get your taxes done, Jay? They have went to social media to expose luxury brands. Now, first of all, they're calling our bluff on the fucking tariffs. Check this out. They are fucking done, dude. They're like, fuck it. We don't want the American market.
China is fully prepared to fight to the very end because the world is big enough that the United States is not the totality of the market in the world. So if the United States wants to go in that direction of completely shutting its...
They've already found other buyers. They've canceled beef and fulfilled those with like Australia and New Zealand. They've canceled a bunch of other purchases and they're selling off to other people. They're like, fuck it.
...out of the China market, be my guest.
Yeah, and China will lose the U.S. market, which, as I've said, is 15%.
We don't care. We don't care. China has been here for 5,000 years. Most of the time, there was no United States, and we survived. And if the...
Here is a scary scenario, but sort of true, and the Trump administration, or potentially any administration, could bend this to their people. The reason China is so good at the reason authoritarian governments or like governments with leaders that are there for a long time seem to get to goals easier over an expansive time is because they have one person in charge. They have one party in charge. They have one group of people in charge, and they are faced on a goal. Like China's playing the fucking long game. They're not worried about what's happening this year or next year as much as they're worried about what's happening in 20, 100, 500 years from now. And I'm afraid a party motivated by that sentiment, like let's say a country fucks us over and is doing way better than us, and you can look at them and say, well, they have a leader. They've been planning this out for 500 years. But we've got to go back and forth every 4 years, back and forth. Sometimes we get 8 years, but then it's back and forth, back and forth. Someone could play their audience like Trump needs to be in charge the whole time so he can guide us towards what we actually want. You know what I mean? Somebody can use that to their benefit, but it is true. Like about China, they're playing an extremely long game, and they're doing really well at it. As far as like becoming a superpower and the head of manufacturing, getting other countries on their side of the Belt and Road Initiative.
We don't care. China has been here for 5,000 years. Most of the time, there was no United States, and we survived. And if the United States wants to bully China, we will deal with the situation without the United States. And we expect to survive for another 5,000 years.
When you hear Donald Trump say China wants a deal, it just doesn't know how to go about it. They're proud people. J.D. Vance talks about Chinese peasants. What do you make of their conduct in this respect?
If J.D. Vance thinks that he's dealing with the peasants in China, and I'm proud to be a descendant of the peasants, most of us are descendants of the peasants anyway, that's our tradition. We are farmers before, but now we are one of the leading industrialized economies in the world. So I'm sorry, J.D. Vance doesn't know what he's talking about. And therefore, I don't think there will be China-US dialogue unless the United States changes its attitude towards China. Deal with China as it is, show respect to China, show respect to the Chinese people, and don't try to impose your prejudice and biased view about China or about the rest of the world. China is fully prepared.
So they're not very happy. They feel disrespected. And I tried to explain this to someone on Facebook today. Let's say, boom. Right now, snap of the fingers, Trump has his wish, and every manufacturing job we want back, all of them, I guess, comes to the United States. What does that look like? When does that start? When do we start getting goods again? I want to buy a fucking laptop. Every laptop manufacturer in the world comes to the United States to make when can I buy a fucking laptop? Who's going to build it? What jobs are they coming for? What jobs are they quitting? Are they going to quit being aircraft mechanics? Are they going to quit building fucking Teslas? Are they going to quit working, fucking coal mines or some shit? Because our unemployment is super low right now. Where are these people? And when do I get it back? Like, we're not ready. If you're gonna make this plan, first of all, you have to have the workforce. Second of all, you have to have the supply chain. You have to have the raw material. It's just not like we bring it back. We're still going to need China for fucking everything, except for the actual building at that point. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Not to mention, those are not the jobs we need, right? We don't need factory worker jobs anymore. That was a good job with a pension and good hours and retirement and shit. It's not anymore, right? Because we know the world is making it everywhere else cheaper. It's going to be a minimum wage fucking job. Sorry. Those are not the jobs we fucking need. Why would Hyundai hold on just a second. Why would someone like Hyundai put a brand new plant in Louisiana? Louisiana has a undereducated population. They have a lower cost of living. They're used to very poorly paid jobs, right? They're outside of the union, where we typically think about union plants, because it's not going to be a union plant. They allow kids to drop out of school at 16 and start working. And those kids that drop out of school from 16 to 18, the state of Louisiana doesn't require you to do any type of health care or any type of benefits for them, even if they're full-time employees. Does those sound like good-paying jobs with the federal minimum wage at $7.25? You want kids dropping out of high school to go work in a steel manufacturing plant for Hyundai? Trump never has a fucking plan. Ever. I don't think he's ever had a plan. He's never made a plan. Never. Anyways, regular Chinese people have come out and are speaking. Now, there is a lot of propaganda surrounding this. I'm not so naive to think that this is all true and all across the board, but there have been a bunch of Chinese accounts on TikTok that have blown up overnight. Here was one of the messages they sent out. The people that live there, either the people that live there are making a shit ton of money off the scenario of Louisiana, or they're like most people, they can't afford to move. A lot of people can't afford to move to a different state. I know there are people that are like, well, if you don't like that state, you can move to a different. A lot of people can't just pick up everything and move. They just can't afford it.
They rob you blind and you thank them for it. That's a tragedy. That's a scam. That's why I'm saying this right now. Americans, you don't need a tariff. You need a revolution. For decades, your government and oligarchs have only shipped your job to China. Not for diplomacy, not for peace, but to exploit cheap laborers. And in the process, they hollow out your middle class. Crash.
it's like, okay, you know, a fat person like can't lose 100 pounds and get 6-packs in fucking 20 days, 30 days because they didn't get fat in 30 days. Okay? Everything to make this manufacturing we've sent to China over 80 years, 100 years, whatever, right? They've got the raw material. They've got the manufacturing. They've got the expertise. They've got the engineers. They've got the factories. They've got the workforce. That's what drives their economy. We can't just shut that out and say we're never buying from them again. We're going to do it all here and just snap your fingers and do that. Not to mention, when we're talking about plants, you'll even hear this when we go into the part about the exposing the luxury brands. China's been coming out recently and exposing the luxury brands and saying, hey, the luxury brands are made right here in these factories. They just import them to like Europe or whatever and say, oh, it's Louis Vuitton. They put an emblem and a zipper on it and say it's Louis Vuitton, but we build everything. They have this infrastructure built because that's what they do, and they do it well, right? When you talk about concepts of manufacturing, concepts of a plan, the later stages of manufacturing are the bigger value adders, right? The guy who mines iron, right, doesn't make as much money as the guy at the steel mill that makes it into steel. Doesn't make as much money as the plant where they go to make a frame for a car. Doesn't make as much money as the final assembly plant for the car. Doesn't make as much money. So the further you go down the line, we don't need to be out here mining for ore and making fucking zippers to put inside. We want to be at the end of that process if we're going to have manufacturing. We want to be towards the end of that process. They're the biggest value adders. They require the most skilled labor, and they pay the most.
But to exploit cheap laborers. And in the process, they hollow out your middle class, crash your working class, and told you to be proud while they sold your future for profit. And yes, China made money, but we used it to build roads, lift millions out of poverty, fund healthcare, raise living standard. We reinvested in our people. My family also benefited from it. What did your oligarchs do? They bought yachts, private jets, mansions with golf course driveways. They manipulate the market, dodged tax, and poured billions into endless wars. And you get stagnated wages, crippling healthcare cost, cheap dopamine, debt, and flagged wave poverty made in.
I think more and more people every day are figuring out how fucked wages are, earnings are compared to the housing market. It's a big fucking deal, right? It's a big fucking deal. And I think that'll radicalize more and more people, hopefully, to the side that actually is willing to help them rather than fucking Trump and his people. But the housing market is a big deal that's going to affect everybody unless you just want to rent for the rest of your life. And that transfer of property is the biggest fucking motivator or maker of generational wealth. And an entire group of people below a certain age, if you're not locked into a rate right now, you're just out of the market. You're just out of the market. There's nothing you can do. You can't buy anything. You can't build anything. You can't own anything. Too bad.
In China, well, they pick your pocket. For 40 years, both China
and we got motherfuckers building rockets to take them to Mars. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I can't buy a house for my family, and I got a motherfucker building a rocket to take him and his friends to Mars.
The United States benefit from the trade, the manufacturing, but only one of us use that wealth to build. This isn't China's fault. This is yours. You let this happen. You let the oligarchs feed you lies. Well, they made you fat, poor, and addicted. Now they blame China for mess they made. I don't think so. I don't think you need another tariff. You need to wake up. You need to take your country back. I think you need a revolution. They rob you blind.
People in China are calling for us to revolt. That's insane. We also have this guy, which we watched the other day. Check out, who is this guy's name? So this is the guy that's like, I voted for Trump. Watch this.
All right, I hate asking for help. I'm not asking for any handouts, but I'm a
We've already seen this one. I'm going to show you the next one he made.
business owner that is directly being affected by the 104% tariff that has been put on China. I import alloy wheels for cars, and I do somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 containers a year, which is a small business in regards to this industry. At 104%, I am absolutely going to implode and will not last 6 months. So with that said, I'm asking, is there anybody out there that has connections with manufacturing facilities, specifically alloy wheels, either in the United States or outside in these lesser tariff countries like Mexico, Indonesia, Thailand, India? I need to find another source. I've emailed a lot of these companies and cannot get a response. And I just don't know if it's because I'm a small business or what exactly it is. So if anybody's out there that can help or shed some light, maybe provide some information, that would be helpful.
First of all, you are a small business, so you're not going to get a lot of callbacks. Second of all, you don't think the other big businesses that do this exact same thing are reaching out to those plants and they're overwhelmed at this point, trying to avoid the tariffs as well? Third, you voted for this.
I would really greatly appreciate it because if not, it's just a small business here that's going to go under, and I'll be back to digging ditches again, which I'm not scared to do, but it's a little harder to do with a wife, 2 kids, and at 45 years old. So let me know if you guys...
It sucks, don't it? It sucks, don't it? I wonder if you care about anybody else's life you fucking ruined, or no?
have any suggestions.
It's yours?
Thank you.
So the next video he makes is this. So someone says, I love this for you, because he voted for it. You got what you voted for.
I love this for you. I love this. Nice. I love this for you. I love to see you fail. I love to see your family be affected and hurt because you voted for Trump. Yeah, I voted for Trump. Absolutely. Did I know he was going to increase the tariffs? Yes, I did. However, I thought that the infrastructure would be set up prior for small business to come back to America and manufacture in America.
Oh, so you thought he would have a plan before destroying your business? Has he ever had a plan before destroying anything, or who told you this? Where'd you get this information from? It's never happened before.
So to wish ill on someone and to love the fact...
No one's wishing ill on you. I am so glad that you got every fucking thing you voted for. I couldn't be happier that you voted for something and you got exactly what you were told was going to happen. Because never once did he say, we're going to do tariffs, but first we're going to make sure that businesses are secured, manufacturing's here, we're going to do all that. That way there'll be a plan for when companies are just cut off from their supply. No, he went around like a fucking retard saying tariff, it's a beautiful word. Nobody uses the word, but I'm going to start using it. And you voted for that.
Fact that they're suffering, to love the fact that their family is being negatively affected because I didn't vote the same way that you did is fucked up. It really is. It shouldn't matter. Anyone that enters my life, I'm going to judge you of who you are, how you are as a human being. Are you kind? Are you polite? Are you sincere? That's how I judge you, not who you voted for. I've got far left-leaning friends. I got far right-leaning friends. It doesn't matter to me. I like you based on who you are. But to see someone hurt and...
What would you rather us say? I wish you would have voted for all this and not gotten it. You voted for this. I don't think you can be more clear than this.
And their business fail and their family be affected because they didn't vote the way you did, it's fucked up. I'm sorry, a lot of you are fucked up. I'm sorry. We should all care about each other regardless of who we voted for. I'm sorry. I hope you guys can be better people. Good luck to you guys. I love it.
They're fucked up. So here's some of the comments. You were okay hurting my family. You just thought it wouldn't hurt your family. The racism wasn't a deal breaker for you. The SA wasn't a deal breaker for you. The cruelty wasn't. The concepts wasn't. Project 2025 wasn't. But we need to be better people. Please be so for real. Let me fix it for you. I thought the bad things wouldn't happen to me, just other people. We are judging you for who you are. You are a person who voted for a felon, rapist, misogynist, and racist. None of those things were a deal breaker for you. That is who you are. You didn't vote for kind, polite, and sincere. Sir, this is legit what you voted for. You happily voted to negatively affect other families and businesses, but because it's you now, you're mad people are happily enjoying the fuck around find out. Stop it. Your self-righteousness and arrogance got you to where you are now. You didn't care about how others would suffer when you voted for a felon, rather a felon than an educated woman of color. Fuck around and find out. Here, let me translate. Yes, I voted for Trump. Did I know his policies wouldn't directly affect me? No. I thought only other people would be negatively affected. Wow. Then this person replies and says, ironic statement when you are hearing what you want to hear. We voted for programs for you. You voted against us. Big difference. This is one of my favorite fuck around and find out videos today. You literally voted against human rights for cheaper eggs. This isn't right versus left. It's right versus wrong. You didn't think it would affect you, and you didn't care until it did. Elon says no empathy, so tough it out, bro. The fact that Trump can be everything he is, a criminal, a rapist, an insurrectionist, and you still voted for him. Now you're asking for sympathy? You didn't care for those who he would impact. Fuck around and find out. This is so satisfying. Please keep making more of these. This episode of Fuck Around and Find Out just tickles me pink. These are the FAFO stories that warm my heart. Unfortunately, you made the decision to vote for a man that has zero care for you. You were warned during the whole Trump campaign that these tariffs are going to put the average American, are going to be put on the average American. You're judging on all those things, but didn't judge Trump and voted for him. I'm really loving the Fuck Around Find Out Season 2. This is the most beautiful FAFO to date. Have the day you voted for. It's almost like we told you all this is going to happen. We were protecting everyone. You were protecting yourself. Enjoy your FAFO stage. Have the day you deserve. Why didn't you judge Trump with the same criteria? Is he kind? Is he polite? Is he sincere? Talking about how he judges all of his friends. I don't love the FAFO energy, but if we're being real, liberal tears was a mantra for years. So it's a bit ironic to get your feelings hurt when the tables are flipped. I don't know. These guys, they can't see the forest for the fucking trees, I guess. I need help because Trump destroyed my business after I voted for him. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. I just thought he would fix it before he did it. Here are tariffs like I'm 5. It says, can someone explain to me, like I'm 5, why people are getting mad that the President Trump put tariffs on countries that already charge the U.S. the same amount, if not more, in tariffs?
This is Carl. Carl owns a farm. Carl owns a farm that makes fruit. Carl sells a lot of fruit to people, but he also sells fruit to Mickey. But Mickey
no.
China.
I don't want to. Fuck him.
And China doesn't want Mickey to buy fruit from Carl. China would prefer that Mickey buy fruit from China. So China charges Mickey $2 for every $4 of fruit that Mickey buys from Carl. Poor Carl. Carl seems sad. But the thing is that Carl needs Mickey way more than Mickey needs Carl. Because the farm that Carl owns, almost everything that Carl needs to run that farm, Mickey actually makes. All the equipment and things that Carl needs to run his farm, he buys from Mickey. But Carl is not happy with the way that his farm is doing, so one day he votes for Mr. Crazybird to be his president, and Mr. Crazybird wins. On his first day as president, Mr. Crazybird goes to to Carl and says, "Hey Carl, I don't like that you are charged $2 for every $4 of things you sell to Mickey." Carl says, "Yeah, that's not fair." Mr. Crazybird says, "I'm gonna do something about it. Thank you, Mr. Crazybird. I love you and I trust you." President Crazybird starts flapping his wings and running around uncontrollably, and then also stopping a lot to play games. One day he decides, you know what? Everything that China sells to us, I am going to charge $2 for every $4 of things that they sell to get even with them. And Carl says, "Yay! I'm so excited about that. Oh, there's one catch. The $2 that I charge to everyone who sells things to you, I'm gonna keep that. You're okay with that, right?" Sure. 6 months later, Carl goes back to President Crazybird and says, "Hey, Mr. Crazybird, I love everything you're doing. I super trust you. But here's the problem. My equipment has broken down, and it's too expensive for me now."
Spent 3 hours putting a grill together today? Holy shit, what kind of grill was it?
To order all the things I need from Mickey in order to fix it, and also I have a lot less customers now because the price of the fruit that I sell has gone way up. Carl, I hear you on this. This is so awful, but here's the good news. All of that money that we charged to China to bring the things that you need into our country, we're actually going to use it and we're going to give it to Mickey, and Mickey is actually going to open new farms in the United States. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
But Mr. Crazybird, if you do that, and because Mickey owns the equipment that he needs in order to make fruit, they're going to be able to price their fruit a lot cheaper than me, and then I'm going to go out of business. Oh, Carl, I feel so bad for you, but here's the thing. Me and my friends all gave a lot of money to Mickey already, and we really need his business to succeed because then we'll get more rich. Suckers. Suckers. The end.
There you go. Like your 5. Like your 5. Want to see Elder Millennial get fact checked again? Here we go. Here's one. This one's actually pretty good. Elder Millennial, I'm convinced. I did a video on it, but if you haven't seen my TikTok, he doesn't verify anything.
Go ahead and give you a little.
He doesn't look anything up. He doesn't fact check anything. He doesn't read any books. He doesn't read any studies. He literally sees something on Twitter and repeats it. What he's about to show you is a Twitter meme. What he's about to claim is true. He's going to say, if you took all the money from all the rich people, and he doesn't cite a source, the top 1%, the top 0.1%, the top 10%, the top whatever. He just says, if you took all the money from all the rich people, every dime, every penny they have, it wouldn't even run the federal government for a full year, only 11 months and 4 days. This is a meme off Twitter. I've seen it hundreds, thousands of times. It's not true. But he doesn't care because his followers love it.
Economic perspective here. Are you aware
that you aren't that fucking smart? That just because you say something to your TikTok followers doesn't mean it's true? Are you aware that Google exists? I'm able to fact check what you're saying? Or no?
That if we decided to confiscate the wealth of every single rich person in America.
So I'm not sure if you're talking about
every single rich person in America, confiscate all their wealth.
The top 1%, top 0.1%, top 50%. But let's just go with the top 1%, right? The wealth owned by the top 1% is $49.1 trillion.
And I'm not talking about taxing them. I'm not talking about taking a percentage of their income. I'm talking about that if we confiscated every single cent, every single asset, everything these people had to their names.
So if we take,
and if you go into his comments, his followers are like, you can't tell them liberals nothing. This is so true. I'm so glad Trump's in there to straight. And he's literally just finding memes and making them into TikToks. That's it. That's his entire source. He did that Trump video, that Trump shared about the reason he's doing this tariffs is to crash the stock market, to flood the Fed. The Fed will have to lower interest rates because the bond market has so much money, blah, blah, blah. He did a video on that. It was literally an AI video that Trump made that didn't make any fucking sense, claimed Warren Buffett supported it, called it the greatest financial move ever or some shit. He just made a video repeating all those things. And his followers are like, hell yeah, I love Trump. Can't believe he's doing this for us.
We take all of their wealth, that's going to be $49.1 trillion. Keep that in mind, okay?
We wouldn't even be able to fund the government for 1 year.
Okay, let's go ahead and look at this little table. We have year, and then we have spending in trillions of dollars by the federal government. So 2014, $4.66 trillion all the way down, you get the point. So we have year 2021, right? $46.36 trillion spent when we add all of these up, right? So then we get to year 2022, 53.3. And remember, top 1% holds $49.1 trillion. So in between those 2 years, 8.5 years is when we would run out of money.
So if we took the top 10%, all of their wealth, of the top 10%, or the top 1%, you could fund the federal government for 8.5 years.
We would be able to go over a year with this hypothetical.
But he's claiming we couldn't, for some reason, like as if this is how it works, we couldn't fund the government for 1 year, 11 months and 4 days.
Like that would fund our government for 11 months and 4 days.
Well, maybe when you ask a kindergartner to do the math, that's the answer you get. But no, it's 8.5 years.
We do not have a taxation problem. We do not have an income problem. Our nation has a spending problem.
So, tend to forget that Trump was president in 2021. See when we had the biggest jump? Right.
Our government
is
way too much fucking money.
So you wouldn't have a spending problem if you didn't have a revenue problem. If we correctly taxed the rich and large corporations, there wouldn't be a spending problem because we'd be making enough revenue, right? In 2024, Tesla reported $2.3 billion in U.S. income, but paid $0 in federal taxes. Tesla reported 46,000 times more income than I did, but I paid more in federal taxes than Tesla. That is the fucking issue.
And look, I get it. There are times where the spending had to increase. Like a good example, before COVID happened, we were spending an average around $4.5 trillion a year. Then COVID happened and we were spending $6 trillion to deal with that. But then magically,
None of these numbers are true, by the way. It was 4, then 5, then 6, then we spent 8 around 7 and 8 around COVID, and now we're back down to 6 pre-COVID.
for the last couple of years, we haven't had COVID, but we've still been spending $6 trillion.
Okay, let's look at the table again, right? So you were right. We were spending around
4.6, 4.9, 5.0, 5.1, 5.1, 5.4, 7.9, 8. Then we're back down to 6.9, 6.3, 6.7.
$4 trillion, and then we went up to about 5, and then COVID happened. We went up to $8 trillion, and now we're back down. Don't try to make it seem like 6 was our highest, and we're still at 6, because it wasn't, love. Just because you lie in front of your followers does not mean it's true.
Even though the advance in spending was supposed to be because of the worldwide pandemic. Well, now we don't have a worldwide pandemic, and we're still spending the same amount of money.
No, we are not. But when you lie about the numbers and make it seem like we spent $6 trillion because of COVID and we're still at $6 trillion, I see how you come to that conclusion. But just because you lie, again, does not make it true.
There is no valid reason for that to be happening. But that's what's been happening for the last couple of years.
Well, it's not. You just lied. That's it.
Taxing the rich is not a solution. First of all, because if you tax them, they'll just leave.
So this just kind of proves you don't understand immigration. You also don't understand how the U.S. taxes their citizens. So even if you move to another country, you are still subject to U.S. taxation. The U.S. taxes their citizens on a worldwide income. Also, there's no evidence to support these kind of claims because the UK and France have increased their taxes for the ultra rich, but they have not seen any large scale.
It just doesn't happen. This doesn't happen.
Exits from the rich, love. There's no data to back this claim up.
They are rich enough to just fucking leave. Like, they don't need the companies they have.
So U.S. tax laws penalize individuals who try to renounce their citizenship to just avoid taxes. And the number of American citizens renouncing their citizenship is tiny, especially among the millionaires and the billionaires. And also that they don't need their business. Most billionaires' net worth is tied up in their business. If they left or sold everything, their net worth would go down and they would lose control and influence. Huh? It's so weird to see someone that's obviously not rich defending the rich without understanding how the shit fucking works.
And secondly, but more important, even if we took all of their money, we still wouldn't even be able to fund the government for a year.
Except we would. Love, for 8.5 years. And this is a hypothetical. We wouldn't take all of their income. Tesla paid $0 fucking dollars. Even 1% would have been amazing.
Not to mention, liberals are currently fighting. So these rich people that own these corporations that build their shit overseas and bring it to America, liberals are fighting so those people don't have to bring their product to the U.S. and can continue to make billions, if not trillions of dollars. That's what liberals are fighting for.
There you go.
It's just tariffs aren't the way to do this. You can't force companies to come back to America without the fucking manufacturing infrastructure for them to come to America. And then also making it seem like we're fighting for the rich while we're also wanting the rich to pay their fucking fair share is crazy. We can't force these companies to come to America without the feasibility of them coming to America to make their products, especially by crashing the fucking market. That's not helping.
So maybe we should look at more practical solutions.
Practical solutions to why Google doesn't work for you or why you continuously lie on this app thinking people aren't going to fact check you. I hope we can find those solutions.
I'm getting so tired of just covering. I wish he would just look something up, but it doesn't matter, right? People want to hear what they want to hear. And they want you to be supporting Trump, and they want you to tell us how good he's doing. Even if you make it up, they don't care.
It's fast.
It's so easy to be a fucking MAGA influencer. It's disgusting. Here's a skit that was pretty funny I found.
You do know that stupidity is not a legal defense. Right? What? Yesterday at 9:37 a.m. on Truth Social, in all caps, did you not post, "This is a great time to buy"? Yes. Right before you paused the tariffs on everyone but China. For 90 days.
Thank you for the new follow.
Mm-hmm. You do know that's insider trading and market manipulation. Mm-hmm. Is it? Yeah. That's a crime. Nah. And then later that day on camera, you said, "I've been in worse positions in my life, making $2 billion a day, plus. To which you added, "It really is plus. To which you then pointed to Charles Schwab and said, "This is Charles Schwab. He made $2.5 billion today. Nice guy. How many times do you plan on doing this? You plan on doing it again, don't you? Maybe. When? In 90 days? Yes. You do know that stupidity is not a legal defense. Right?
If only the SEC would come after him. But of course they won't. They won't. They don't have anything to do with it. They're just done. Do you guys know what modern monetary theory is, MMT? There's a documentary that I'm watching. I haven't finished it yet. On YouTube. It's completely free. Called Finding the Money. Finding the Money is by a lady named Stephanie Kelton, I think's her name. Stephanie Kelton. It's pretty interesting. I don't know much about it. That's why I'm watching the documentary. But it's pretty interesting to watch if it's something you guys are interested in. And then one more video before we go. Sully put out a new video. I got it on YouTube. It's on TikTok too, though.
Use math to expose the hate over at Fox News. I can't take it anymore. I'm so tired of the hate. It's so obvious, and I can prove it. Number one hateful story over at Fox News that we'll talk about, DEI. I have 100 cups up there. Each cup is 1,000 voters. This is 1 million voters in my imaginary country. I got 600,000 voters in Green State. I got 300,000 in Yellow State and 100,000 in Red State. And the imaginary country, just like the United States of America, is a representative democracy with an electoral college of which I will grant one electoral vote for every 100,000 people. That means red gets 1, green gets 6, yellow gets 3. Here's my electoral college.
The electoral college is DEI. The Electoral College is DEI.
You have to admit to yourself, DEI is the founding principle of the nation as we have a diverse electorate with equal power, including all states. You cannot have it both ways, and I'm not going to let Fox warp it into something it's not. They will tell you that it's so people here lose jobs to people over here, but that is not the case. DEI is justice. And our country is formed on it, and you need to move on and identify the hate. What else do the Fox focus groups say? Well, how do we handle illegal immigration? Let's talk about the hateful message there. But here's an easy way to get around it. They say this over and over all day long. I'm for legal immigration. It's just got to be done the right way. I'm here to tell you as a Democrat that that is a non-answer and it's a complete cop-out. You can't say it any longer. It's only to make you feel good. I want to know what you want to do with Juan, who's been here for 15 years picking strawberries. Tell me what you want to do with him, because I want to give him a path to citizenship, and I'm not going to let you just say, I'm for legal immigration. I want to know, take a stand. Do you want to send him home, or do you want him a path to citizenship? When you tell me,
I don't know why Republicans just don't go in full swing of path to citizenship, because maybe you make up the jump through some hoops, but that does away with a majority of the illegal immigrants, and then you can say there's no more illegal immigrants. I just don't get it. Plus, they're already working jobs and shit. Like, if they've been here, following the law, working, path to citizenship.
that they have to do it the right way. Please describe to me how this family who is running from drug lords, who's going to kill their family, their dogs, and everyone around them, is supposed to stop and fill out paperwork. Is that the right way? Is marrying the right way? What is the right way? Make a stance. Fox will tell you that it just, hey, I'm for the legal way. Well, tell us what that means. And lastly, the most popular hateful story on Fox News, I watched it for 1 hour this week, and it was said 18 times. Behind me, in the bag of hate of Fox News, I have 610 cups representing 610,000 college athletes. The most popular story on Fox News, specifically when the president is doing poorly, like the stock market crashing for the 18 times it was said an hour, transgender athletes in college sports. Take a good look at it.
Look at the wall of athletes, then look what's represented transgender athletes.
0.00001. It is a false flag of hate peddled to you every hour, on the hour, desensitized to all of it. You think it's a real problem. 0.00001. 18 times an hour. If that's not a false flag of hate, I don't know what is, because real problems do exist. The red cups are all the student athletes with mental health issues because they have problems getting their scholarship, their academics and working all done. Thinking about killing themselves or actually trying to kill themselves. That's the problem. That is not. I'm not going to sit back and let you believe that we cry liberal tears when all we're doing is standing up for the truth. Where I come from, you don't get to bully people. I don't like it. I will stand up for the little guy. I don't think it's right to pound down on some of the most fragile people in our community, and I'll stand up for them every time. We as Democrats will meet you anywhere, anytime with the facts. We're not going anywhere. We got an election to win, and we will win it. If you like this content, please subscribe or follow. It's entirely free, and I put it on all forms of media. But we cannot sit back with this constant chaos and distraction.
He does a really good job of the visualizations.
So rich people can get richer. Pounding down on LGBTQ, making up stories about DEI, and taking non-stances on immigration. It's not going to happen. I'm not on board with the hate. I'm going to speak out about it every single time. The math is on my side. The hate's on yours. Cups and cans talk and bullshit walks, and I call bullshit. And as always, I hope you learned something. I hope you have a great night. And remember, I'm always rooting for you.
All right, guys. That's it for me. Chat's slowing down. A lot of bad news going around pretty often. I did get a hop reward, Spill the Tea hop reward. Thank you guys for the hop train earlier and the gifted subs. I appreciate that. Support the stream while we're offline at Cobra.fund. If you like what you see, if you want to keep it going, that's this link here. It has all my social media links and ways to support the show. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I'll be back tomorrow. You guys have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't.
We might check in with Bert tomorrow.
Balls.
See what Bert's doing.
Okay, Scott.
Oh, check out Finding the Money on YouTube. It's about modern monetary theory. It's pretty interesting so far.
Piss 'em off, it's about to get lit. Get the place
you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a sixth sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believers? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like fool in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Hit the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped them to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine, with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? It's it. Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. This is my mom's an alcoholic. Give me a... Oh my God.
Have a good night, guys.
Here we go. I think I started some shit.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about 60 Minutes. You're right.